Kevin, you know? Here.
Okie dokie. Me too. Be ready to start in just a moment. It is 4:45. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bob Sampson, and I'd like to welcome everyone to this meeting of the Fort Schuyler Management Corporation. I'd like to recognize some additional attendees we have here. Kevin Eunice is the Chief Operating Officer of Empire State Development. He has been named by ESD President and CEO Howard Zemsky as his designee to this board. So, Kevin, welcome. We're glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
We appreciate all the work you do.
It feels like a Groundhog Day. So
Yes, this is going to be. This is a Groundhog Day situation.
20 minutes ago.
I was going to say that. I'd also like to welcome Heather Hage, representing the Research Foundation, who's at the end of the table here, and then Dr. Robert Geer, who's representing the SUNY Poly Foundation. Robert, good to see you. I'd also like to, before we begin the agenda, ask any directors that are here if they have a potential conflict of interest with respect to the items in today's agenda. If so, I'd ask you to please make an appropriate disclosure on the record now. So we'll then remind you to please recuse yourself from any discussion or vote with regard to these items we will be discussing. Okay. What I'd like to start is with the approval of the minutes from our last meeting on February 22nd. Those are in front of you. I'd like to see if there's a motion to accept and approve those minutes as shown in your packages.
So moved.
Motion.
So moved. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or any other thoughts on that? Okay. Next, I'd like to ask for a motion to introduce the Resolution 152. First, I'd like a motion to introduce the resolution.
motion.
Okay, thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay. This Resolution 152 is really based on the new acquisition and deposition of real property policy that was adopted by the board at our last meeting, and provides for the appointment of a contracting officer to oversee the acquisition and disposition of property. This resolution appoints Scott Bateman as the interim contracting officer. Scott currently serves as assistant treasurer to Fort Schuyler and a senior VP of finance for SUNY Poly. It is being done on an interim basis because another person may be named as we get more staff. So, Scott, we appreciate your help and wisdom in that role. Could I please ask for a vote on Resolution 152? First, by a...
I'll make a motion.
Make a motion?
Second.
And a second? Any discussion or comments? Okay. So moved.
All in favor?
All in favor, say aye. I assume you all agreed.
I almost got on it.
Yeah. Next is the amendment of certificate of incorporation.
It's interim.
Next is the amendment of certificate of incorporation. This amendment substitutes the SUNY Poly Institute Foundation. The Institute for Technology Foundation, Utica, Rome, is successor organization and adds language to the certificate of incorporation stating that FSMC will cooperate with ESD in its economic development activities, which are the furtherance of ESD's economic development mission and are related to SUNY Poly. There's been a change in the relationship with ESD, and the current certificate does not recognize ESD's role with respect to FSMC. This amendment recognizes ESD's new role and clarifies FSMC's economic development purpose and aligns the purpose with ESD's purpose and mission. If approved, the certificate will be sent to the members of the corporation for their approval and filed with the Department of State. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve this amendment with ayes and nays and abstentions. So please give me your vote.
Make a motion.
Make a motion on accepting this amendment. So moved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Okay, I'd like you to approve with ayes and nays and any abstentions. Any abstentions? Or nays or ayes?
Ayes.
Let's go with ayes. Okay. Next, I'd like to turn over the next item on our agenda to Bob Megna with a President's report and discussion about Resolution 154.
Hi, we have a relatively short report. Resolution 154 is the approval of an amendment to notice to proceed for a project in Plattsburgh. In July of 2015, the board approved the corporation undertaking the development, design, construction, and fit-up of a facility in Plattsburgh to house Norsk's USA-based manufacturing and business operations and the related acquisition of property and equipment. Norsk, for those of you who don't know, and I didn't until a few short months ago, Norsk manufactures aircraft components out of titanium using additive manufacturing 3D printing machines. We should know that the approved and the board approved the selection of Whiting Turner as the preferred candidate. And preferred candidate here means they went through an RFP process, in case anyone is confused by the word preferred candidate, for construction contractor, and EYP as the preferred candidate for architect. And ESD authorized a grant in the amount of $4 million for pre-construction planning, design, and furtherance of the project. And again, is another example of how closely we're working with ESD on these projects. So in August of 2016, in advance of negotiating and entering into a contract, and in order to enable Whiting Turner and EYP to begin pre-construction activities, including design and planning of the project, the then General Counsel to the corporation signed a notice to proceed with Whiting Turner, authorizing expenditures in furtherance of the project in the amount not to exceed $1,670,000, 927. Since then, Whiting Turner and its subcontractors and design consultants have diligently worked on the project and have reached the expenditure limit. To enable them to continue the pre-construction planning and design, SMC seeks to increase the expenditure limit from $1,670,000 to $4,050,000. So we are asking the board to approve the resolution increasing the expenditure authorization to $4,050,000 and authorize the president to take necessary actions to implement the resolution.
So moved.
I have a couple questions.
Sorry.
Just clarifications. I think it'd be good to, as you said, Bob, that this was based on RFP.
Yes.
I'd like to see that language added to the resolution, just to make it clear, because when somebody reads this, just reading it, you don't get that.
That's good. Yes.
I actually noticed today I had several people come to me and say, what does preferred candidate mean? So we'll add that language. It's a good point.
That's a good point.
And the other question I had is, will it exceed $4,050,000?
No.
So they won't be coming back more for more money, right?
Correct.
No. So the notice to proceed, the $4 million, we provided an initial grant of $4 million. However, included in the budget was $125 million for this project. So this $4 million.
It's just for this.
Yes.
It's working off that.
It can exceed that.
Yeah, the notice to proceed
for
can
this.
exceed.
Yeah, that's all I meant. Yeah.
But there is $125 million for this project that it was appropriated in last year's budget.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate the clarification.
So there's a motion for this?
I think we had a motion, didn't we?
A motion to approve, yes.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Can I ask a question subsequent?
Sure.
What's the total project cost? Do you happen to know?
So the grant that was provides for the building and equipment. So the entire project cost, as it relates to building equipment, is $125.
Okay.
The company will have other costs that they will incur, but this building will be, and the equipment will be owned by Fort Schuyler.
Okay, thank you.
agree. Resolution.
Yeah.
Okay, next item, Bob?
Part B, Conventus building lease and sublease. FSMC leases space from Conventus at 1001 Main Street in Buffalo and subleases space to Athenix. It would like to lease a 74 square foot mechanical room in the basement from Conventus and sublease it to Athenix to support its operations. There would be no cost to FSMC and no change to Athenix. So again, we're asking for a motion to authorize the president to amend the lease and the sublease.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Okay, next is new business. I'd like to ask if there's any new business to be considered at this time.
For clarification, what is the status of merging FSMC and FSRC?
Boards?
Yeah, the boards.
What the status is.
Well, I guess we're since some of us are relatively new to the place, we're spending some time reviewing with folks the material they put together on mergers. I think one of the things we wanted to do was get some business done under the existing structure that, like we did today, that shows that we're moving forward on these economic development projects where we can. I think it's more complicated than you would immediately think to put the two corporations together, but it is certainly something we're reviewing and looking at, and again, want to do it in a way that would best serve the interests of SUNY Poly, the Research Foundation, ESD, and the two corporations.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other new business? Any other comments for new business? Okay. I'd like now to move to any public comments that we might have from people that are here with us. Any public comments? Okay. Having heard no public comments, schedule for our next meeting will be in mid-June. We'll publish that in advance, so you'll have a good notice of when that meeting will be. And I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Second. So moved. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming. Thank you for your service.